Greetings and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live from beautiful Budapest here on the Danube River in Central Europe. I hope everybody has had a great week and is off to a good Friday today. Hi Roshni, good to see you in class. This is a members chat class, so you do need to be... I'll get you back on camera here just a second. I'm not sure why the camera decided to take a snooze there. But we'll get you back in just a second here. All right. So again, this is a members chat class, and there is exciting news about membership as well. Now we have different membership levels. So you can become a member for as low as around $2 US per month, which does give you access to request classes and for our private video list. And then, of course, we have a higher tier where you can get our 6 practice exams. And now we have some premium membership deals as well, students, where you can actually pay as a member on YouTube and get access to our full online courses. Lots of members coming into class now. Hi, Alexander. Hi, Zainab. Hi, Sheng Hung. Hi, Preeti. Hi, Firdavs. Hi, Hermes. Good to see you in class. As well, students, another exciting piece of news. We are now partners with British Council as an IELTS registration center, which means that you can register for your IELTS exam through us. And this is currently available in Saudi Arabia, and we will be adding more countries over the coming weeks. So kind of exciting news about that. And again, if you're a premium member of our channel now, you will have access to all of our videos, courses, practice exams, and more. So check that out, okay? All right, so this is the academic website portal. aehelp.com. You can also access this when you have the app, Academic IELTS Help. And this is the general here with the green background. Click that red button to join there. All right, so let's get into today's lesson a bit. Again, members, you're sending me some requests these days. That's great. Keep it up. Just send your requests to Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com. Hi, Danish. Good to see you in class. Hi, Kesey. All right. So today we are working on an IELTS writing task 2 question together. Okay. We're going to apply some of the information that I discussed in the last 2 members chat classes, which is using punctuation marks. So that's going to be our goal today, members, is writing a great task 2 essay and using punctuation, commas, periods, colons, semicolons, n-dash, m-dash correctly in our writing task 2. So that's the goal. Here we go. Let's look at the question. This was also submitted, I believe, by one of our members. IELTS writing task 2. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Some people think that studying history is a waste of time, while others think that it is essential to learn. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. Use explanations and examples to support your opinion. So that looks pretty interesting. It's a provocative question, the question of studying history. All right, members. So step number 1 is paraphrase the question in your own words. Let's make sure we understand this clearly. Let's make sure we are on the same page. So go ahead, members, paraphrase this question to the best of your ability. Minimum 60 to 70% word replacement. I will do the same. So... All right. There is my paraphrase for the question while we wait for some of our members to get their ideas up in the chat. So, certain individuals, paraphrasing some people, think, believe that learning about the past, studying history, is a suboptimal use of time, is a waste of time. Okay? Suboptimal, notice that I'm using the dash there to create that word. As where others, while others, ascertain is another way to say think or propose, that this is key information to include in school curricula. Curricula is plural for curriculum or school materials, school schedule, school information. Okay? Express the opinion of both sides and take a stand on one. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. So this paraphrase of the question reflects the same information. I collect some useful vocabulary like learning about the past, suboptimal, ascertain, school curricula. So those are some good words to include in my essay. It gives me a clear idea. It starts to work my brain around this information. So always paraphrase the question. Always take that 1 minute to do that. Again, it helps you to avoid the biggest mistake on the exam, which is writing off topic. Okay, that's mistake number one, writing off topic. Alexander, thank you for your paraphrase. Alexander writes, it is accustomed to think for some individuals that learning history is completely useless, while others are sure that it holds substantial value for everyone. Alexander, I had to do a little bit of correction there. If you state, Alexander, that they're sure it is substantial for everyone, it's okay, but I would use substantial to as an adjective, like substantial information for everyone. And not what do you think about each opinion, Alexander, but yeah, I see where you're going with that, but it's a little bit unclear. Okay, Roshni says, some ascertain that gaining knowledge about history is a waste of time, while other people believe that it is imperative to study. Roshni, very nice paraphrase there with the imperative to study. Imperative means, viewers, that it's extremely important. It's vital, it's critical. Imperative. It's of the utmost importance. That's the definition for imperative. Nice use of that word, Roshni. Shang Hung says, some individuals trust that learning ancient events is useless as where others believe it is a must subject in school. Write a debate for both sides and express what you think. Shang Hung, very close, okay? It's quite a nice paraphrase, just a couple of slight adjustments. Ancient stories, it's a little bit awkward because a story in most cases means that it's fiction, so people will think it's fictional. So ancient events is a better way to say it. Okay. Preeti says, a few individuals ascertain that the study of history is a useless killing of time, whereas others believe that it is necessary to introduce this to students in schools. Okay, Preeti, again, some slight corrections there. All right, Ferdov says, certain individuals consider that learning history is an ineffective investment of time, while others believe that it is crucial to learn. Okay, Ferdov's, again, a couple of corrections there. Take note of that. Danish says, certain individuals believe that studying about the past is a waste of time, while others believe that it is important knowledge to have. You don't need the word history again, Danish. It's repetitive. Kisi says, certain individuals believe that learning past events is time-consuming. However, some people ascertain that it should be a part of school curricula. Yeah, Kisi, time-consuming is not necessarily negative. So we need another adjective there. Learning past events is a negative consumption of time, maybe something like that. Casey, if you want to use that. Time consuming is perhaps not the best collocation to use in this context. Okay, students, so some nice paraphrasings there. We get the idea. The topic is, what is the topic? Okay, let me know what the topic is while I read Zainab's paraphrase. Specific individuals ascertain that learning about past generations, Zainab, learning about past generations is non-beneficial, while others argue that this is an important knowledge. Okay. Yeah, very good, Roshni. It's about studying history. Roshni, you're really improving nicely. I'm glad to see that your speed of comprehension, of speed of critical thinking, and your accuracy of language use is really improving. So good for you, Roshni. Okay, so the topic is the study of history. Okay, the study of history. Okay, and the controlling idea is beneficial as a school subject or not. Okay. So let's just jump through the critical thinking. Okay. So what is the study of history? And I'm sure you're going to give me some good answers for this, such as it is learning about events that happened decades, centuries, and millennia ago, which had a major, or which had an impact on the development of society. Okay, why study history? So, why study history? Give me some answers for that one. members, because I'm sure that you can all describe for me what the study of history is. So it means learning about past events in books, through films, through audio, in schools. Why learn it? Okay, Alexander says to not repeat previous mistakes. Yeah, Alexander, you're absolutely right, and I wish that were the case. I really do. Unfortunately, it seems like that's a difficult one for us humans. But to avoid past mistakes, not repeat them. Sure, any other reasons to... Roshni says to rectify mistakes. Sure, that's possible, Roshni. That is different than learning. Also, to rectify mistakes. Yeah. Why else? Yeah, for Dobbs, that's a very good answer. To understand how society that we experience today came to be. And I think Kesey is saying that in another way, to understand people, society, and civilization. Yeah, absolutely. In order to understand, simply put, the world that we live in. Politics, people, and culture. There's another reason I think that's quite important. I haven't seen it come up yet. So Danish says to analyze our mistakes and correct them and not repeat them. Yep, that's being said, Danish. There's one more that comes to mind. Shang Hung says to see the evolution. Yeah, Zainab, that's exactly it. That's what I felt was still missing, is to create progress by building on the past. Okay. So those are all really good answers. So to avoid past mistakes, to not repeat them, to rectify mistakes in order to understand the world that we live in, politics, people, culture, to create progress, to develop by building on the foundations of the past. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, those are good answers. What should be the next question that I ask? So if I have this question for my task 2, when I turn to the writing section and I'm done my task 1, what should be my next question? So I'm moving along nicely. I have a good paraphrase. My thinking is clear. I'm going step by step. By the way, members, I think many of you remember Marwa. He just sent a very nice email. He did a great job on his IELTS exam. And Marwa mentioned that in task 2, the question was quite challenging. So this is exactly what he did in his writing. And he got a 6.5. Even though his teachers assessed him as a band 5, he ended up with a 6.5 because he followed these steps and he was able to understand the question clearly and generate good ideas. So good job, Marwa, one of our past members. Yeah, Kisi, absolutely. Roshni, you're right. Yeah, why is it a waste of time? So we have to discuss both sides of both sides of the question. So we have to say, why is it a waste of time? So why do some people say it's a waste of time? So why not study history is the more clear opposite answer. So why not study history? Joanne, hopefully next time we'll have you do better. So why not study history? What would be the logic there? And that's a little bit of a difficult one because I think many people would say that there's great value in studying history. Okay, so Danish says it's already stored in books or on the internet. So Easily accessible if needed. Yeah. Therefore, it's wasteful to learn. Sure. Absolutely. Kumar, very good. So Kumar Madhavan says there are more important subjects to focus on. Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's an argument that we can make, I think. I really like the answer by Alexander. Alexander says it is an inaccurate science. It does not reflect reality in many cases. Yeah, and that's true, Alexander. There is even a saying that history is written by the victors, right? So people who win the war, people who win conflicts, they're the ones who write history, of course, and it is from their subjective view. So it is often a false science written in subjective views. Yeah. So if you read a history book in a Chinese high school versus a Russian high school versus an Italian German high school versus an American high school, I'm sure that you will find certain differences. Although globalization and the internet is starting to create some homogeny, which is interesting. Governments are fighting hard against that, but I think it is inevitable. So maybe at some point in the future we will have a more unified concept of history. Ferdov says studying history does not necessarily teach people how to earn money. Yeah, Ferdov's a simpler way to say that, and students, it's always good to practice simplifying your ideas, is the study of history does not help survival in society. We could argue that two ways. Does not help to earn money. Yeah, sure. Okay, those are some great answers. All right, so we have a good set of answers there. And ideally, in a perfect world, you're able to think of most or all of these in your exam. Now, here's an important question. Should you write about all of these points for both sides and your opinion when you're writing this task 2 essay? What do you think? So if you want to get like a band 8, do you need to write about all of these different points? So Shanghung says no need to. Roshni says no. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, Shanghung says choose maybe 2 for each of these. So 2 of the most effective arguments from each and go with those. If you try to write about all of this information, there's just almost no way to do that in 40 minutes effectively. If you wanted to write an essay that includes all of this information, it would likely be closer to 600-700 words, not 250, not even close. Okay, so I'm very happy to see that most of our members are saying no, definitely don't write about all of this. I do see that mistake sometimes with students, is that they try to jump through all of these ideas and they think because they mentioned a lot of ideas they're going to get a good band score. But remember that details and depth is more important than just mentioning a lot of different arguments. Okay, so keep that in mind always, students. All right. Good. So I think that we're ready to create our thesis statement. The how question here is very clear, right? So how to study history. That's very clear from books, movies, the internet, professors, teachers. Okay, so that's a clear one, I think. Let's go with our thesis statement. So write up your thesis statements. What do you think you should write here? Pick 2 of these, I'll leave it up to you. Okay. And again, remember what I said, members, at the beginning of this class. The challenge is to include some punctuation marks, perhaps, that make your thesis very clear. So choose a couple points from each. Remember that you have to take a position. You have to discuss both sides. We've dealt with these kinds of essays in the past. Do your best. Don't panic if you're a little bit confused. It's fine. Okay. Danish, yeah, you should go with one side only because the question, so if you need to discuss both sides, but then you need to choose the side that you support. Anytime that it says this, discuss both sides and give your opinion, you should never say, oh, I think both sides have some valid arguments. That makes for a weak essay. Okay, so instead discuss both sides. I'll give you a little bit more help for your thesis. You should always discuss the side you don't believe in first, and then the side that you believe in second. You want to leave your reader with the argument that you support, not the opposite. That would not be effective rhetoric. Okay, so first discuss the side that you don't believe in your first body paragraph, and in your second body paragraph, discuss the side that you do believe in. Okay, focusing more on that second paragraph. And yes, Danish, absolutely, you have to choose just one side. Okay, so again, here are the whys. I know that you need this for the thesis statement. So there it is again. Okay, and while you're doing that, I'll start writing my thesis statement as well. I'll have to shrink the screen a little bit. Okay. So okay, let's see what you come up with. So this is my thesis statement here while we're waiting for what you wrote. Although certain individuals may feel that the study of history is useless as it is often skewed and readily available online. Skewed means distorted. It means it's subjective, okay? And readily available online means that it's easily accessed. I propose that this information is fundamental for students to learn about past mistakes and establish future goals, okay? Reads better this way. So I propose that this information is fundamental for students to learn, to acquire, in order to learn about past mistakes and establish future goals. Again, what I just showed you there is a reminder of past classes where you should reread your thesis statement a couple times to make sure that it works well. Okay, so now I see the thesis statements coming up for some of our members. That's great. For Dobbs writes, although certain individuals ascertain that studying history is a waste of time, this is completely inaccurate because the study of history helps avoid past mistakes and create progress for most. For Dobbs, that is a beautiful, beautiful thesis statement. Good job. Thumbs up. That's great. Okay. That's a Band 9 level thesis statement for Dobbs. It's very good. Shang Hung says, although other subjects are essential and it's easily accessible when needed through the internet, I believe that learning history in school is critical because people can avoid past mistakes and understand the world we create. Shang Hung, that is a beautiful thesis statement as well. I am so happy to see such powerful thesis statements from members. That really shows your advancement in not only English, but also critical thinking and expressive communication, and that's wonderful to see. Shang Hung, you do not need a period after the word internet, just a comma, okay? Just a comma, not a period, just a comma, all right? You don't need to, otherwise it's a sentence fragment, Shang Hung, the first part of it, okay? Kumar Madhavan says, although some people feel that history is in the past, unreliable, and not needed to be learnt, I am of the opinion that a lot of our mistakes of the past can be avoided if we study history. Studying history can also allow us to design our course of action. Kumar, really nice. Another really nice thesis statement. And so far, for Dobbs, Shang Hung, Kumar, you've really written your very own original thesis here that's obviously very different from mine, but all of these, with just a couple of slight tweaks, are definitely Band 9 level thesis statements. You can see, students, that this is a much more powerful way to write a thesis than stating, in this essay, I will discuss both sides and give my opinion. So even if I don't downplay it with my voice, just think about it. If the thesis reads, this essay will discuss both sides of learning and not learning history and give my own opinion, that is much weaker than any of the thesis statements I've read so far. Okay? Reba writes, although studying history is important to understand our culture, but in my opinion, subjects other than history are essential in our life, as studying history is not useful for our career. Reba, so you're taking the opposite argument, which is okay. You can do that, although we're not going to do an example for that today, but you can do that. However, Reba, in your thesis, you still have to explain to me why. You still need that direct clarity of points, okay? So although studying history is important to understand our culture, in my opinion, subjects other than history are essential in our life, as studying history is not useful for our career. So Reba, what subjects outweigh history and for what reason? That's what you have to tell me to make that a better thesis statement, okay? I get the idea, but you still need to be more direct with your thesis, okay? A direct thesis is much, much better than an indirect thesis. Roshni says, some ascertain that learning history is a waste of time. The reason is often false science and cannot help to earn money. However, I concur with those who say that it is imperative to study because, and I'm sure more of those are, the 2 points are coming, Roshni, and so that's very good, Roshni. I'm waiting for those 2 points to follow the because. Let's see if you've put it up, and then I'll jump back to yours, Casey. Because continuing to rectify mistakes and to develop society is critical. Okay, Roshni, a little bit of, You need a little bit of fixing on the end of that thesis statement, but for the most part, you have the right idea. Students, start thinking about your hook statements. I'm going to read the other thesis statements as well. Start thinking about your hook and the background, because we're going to write the introduction next. So while I'm reading the remaining thesis statements to give a bit of feedback, as these are the most important sentences of any essay, start thinking about your hook and your background information for the introductory paragraph, okay? All right, while you're thinking about that, Kesey writes, although history is a subject of false science written from subjective views and potentially useless, these notions are wrong. I believe that learning of past events helps humans understand their world and avoid past mistakes. Kesey, the structure is good. Your ideas are good. Your word forms and some of your word choices are incorrect. Fix those and you have a band 9 essay. As is, it's a band 6.5. Okay, so careful. Word choice and word form matter a lot for comprehension. Okay. Preeti says, although some people believe that it is a false science and easily accessed on the internet, I believe studying history to avoid past mistakes and understand the progress of humans is vital in school studies. Okay, Preeti, I would finish that thesis with is critical to learn in school, or is a critical part of school. Don't forget, students, we are talking about learning this or studying history formally in school. Okay. Danish says, though few individuals ascertain that learning history is completely a waste of time because it is easily available in books and on the internet, comma, Danish, not period, comma, I absolutely believe that it is reliable and necessary. Right? Danish? Because if you say that it is unreliable and unnecessary, doesn't make sense. You're showing contrast, but then you're supporting the same view. So it's awkward. And where's the other side of the view? Okay, so be very careful with your word choice, Danish. I believe that what you meant to write was, I completely believe that it is reliable and necessary to understand culture properly and avoid mistakes. Okay, so I believe that's what you meant to write, Danish. So unreliable and unnecessary, I believe, are opposite to what you're expressing. Careful with that. Okay. For Dobbs, I think that's your hook. Studying history informs of how things started. For Dobbs, don't use the word things in your speech or in your writing. As soon as you feel yourself write the word thing or say the word thing, stop yourself and correct and replace it with another noun that's more accurate. Okay, so studying history informs people of the way culture started, or politics started, or society started. So there's always a better word for Dobbs that's much more clear. Okay. Rushni's hook is, the issue of learning history has come to the forefront of public awareness in recent years. Sure, Rushni, that works. Okay. All right, Sheng Hung writes, people learn and develop from history. Sheng Hung, that's okay, but what you're doing is making an argument in your hook. I don't recommend doing that. Save that for your thesis. So don't be redundant. Don't have a hook that repeats the argument of your thesis or your position. Instead, Sheng Hung, just state a global worldly fact, right? So remember, it's the study of history, right? So the hook should include Introduction. So the hook should include the topic and just a global fact. Stay away from the opinion part. Wait for the thesis to have the opinion. Okay. Preeti says history provides a sense of context in our life and existence. Okay, Kesey, that's good. That's a good one. So look at Kesey's hook. Kesey writes, history is a part of human civilization. Yeah. Or Kesey, even more specifically, you can say the study of history. How about that? Just something very simple, a very simple, straight fact. The study of history is a significant part of traditional school subjects. Okay? Would you agree with me on this statement? So, do you agree that this fact is true? The study of history is a significant part of traditional school subjects. Do you agree with me on that? Now, do I show an argument here? No, not yet. Not really. There's not a lot of clarity, but certainly one point that you get as my reader is that I'm going to likely discuss the study of history, right? So focus on having a global fact that's catchy. It doesn't state a position or an argument. That's what your thesis is for, okay? And it introduces the topic. That's your goal here. So the study of history is a significant part of traditional school subjects. Now, members, going back to our last two classes about punctuation, so using commas, periods, colons, semicolons, your hook should be a simple sentence, relatively a simple sentence. You should not have a long hook that's using semicolons and colons and em dashes. So I would not like to see any kind of special punctuation in the hook other than a period. Okay. Now, sometimes what students try to do is they try to use a quotation. I don't recommend it. Okay. This hook, maybe for a university paper, not on the IELTS exam. In the IELTS exam, the idea is to express yourself, not others from the past, ironically. So this would be a quotation. Yes, in academic papers, they are used as a hook, but I do not recommend using it on the IELTS exam. Bonus point, who said that? And it would be relevant to this task 2 question, of course. So just for fun, bonus point, who said that? Okay. For Dobbs, right, studying history tends to be unnecessary in recent years. For Dobbs, yeah, Shang Hung, very good. That was Isaac Newton. Absolutely. Good for you. Yeah. Sir Isaac Newton said that. All right, but again, students, don't write quotations for the hook. For Dobbs, I would write that a little bit differently, that hook. I think you have the right idea, but I would write it like this. So studying history So that's how I would write that hook for Dobbs, because I think that's where this question is coming from. So studying history is a boring subject for many students these days. I think that's what you're trying to express by the concept, maybe, of unnecessary. I'm not sure if we're on the same page with the unnecessary, but I think you're trying to put your thumb on where does this statement come from that it doesn't need to be included in school curriculum. And I think the idea is that it's boring, right? So this is kind of opinionated, but it doesn't really give the opinion of the thesis yet. So this is okay, all right? Kumar, again, that's more of a statement for the thesis, okay? All right, students, let's get on to the background. So write the background for me. Which is definitions and importance of the question. Okay, so why do we ask this question of should we have the study of history in schools? So write the background, define for me what is the study of history, okay? And then express to me the importance of the question. Here, you can adapt some of the quotation marks some of the punctuation marks that we learned about in the last two classes, okay? So Ferdov says, history teaches information about individuals and communities that survived, formed, and functioned in the past. Yeah, okay. And I see that you're using some of the punctuation marks with the commas there for Dobbs, which is okay. Try to include some more maybe for Dobbs from the previous classes. Okay, so there's a little bit of fun with punctuation. So learning about the past involves gaining knowledge of societies, conflicts, and inventions shaping the world around us. Okay. Since school time is limited, there we go. So since school time is limited, comma, right, for the dependent clause, it is important to evaluate the utility of learning this subject. All right. So there I have my hook and my background with definition and importance. Okay, Reba says history is a platform where an individual learns about the past, cultures, some stories of brave ancestors as well. Reba, good ideas. However, you need to think about your word order. What word is modifying which other word? If you write it as you have, it will be confusing and you will lose marks for grammar and information. Okay. Danish. History provides data to elaborate knowledge about societies and improvement over the centuries. Something like that, Danish. Improvement over the centuries. Yeah, it's a tricky one, Danish. The preposition is not of or in, but it's over the centuries. Or throughout. Throughout is even better. Throughout the centuries. I wouldn't say decades, Danish. Decades is very short-term history. I'd go throughout the centuries. It's a little bit more long-term. Kumar says, knowledge of our past should include not just when an event occurred, but why they occurred. Just doing the former is pointless and later needs time. Thus, whether history should be taught at all. Ooh, Kumar, I think you're getting very philosophical, and I do agree with your ideas. However, your goal here is to get a high band on this IELTS essay, and what you're presenting there seems to me like a much grander argument that's best left for a longer university paper, so careful with that, okay? Ferdov says, studying history not only tells us how to build a prosperous life, but also to avoid past mistakes. Ferdovs, that is going to be your thesis, so leave it out of the background, okay? Preeti says, studying history in schools is necessary because students understand past civilizations, traditions. Preeti, same thing. Okay, that's your thesis. Leave it for the thesis. Don't confuse background with the thesis. Background is a definition of the study of history and the importance of why maybe to have or not to have history in school curriculum. Okay. So Kisi writes, learning world and domestic history are compulsory courses in school curricula from grade 7 to 12. There are 5,000 long-time students. Okay, I think, Kisi, you're talking about the years. So there are 5 millennia of history that students need to learn, and it requires a lot of time. Yeah, okay, Kisi, I get exactly what you're trying to say, but definitely that second sentence, you need to rewrite it. You would be losing marks for that one. It's very incomprehensible. I'm just using a lot of critical thinking to figure out what you're writing, and I can get that what you mean is that because students need to learn about 5,000 years of history, it demands much time. But you need to express that much clearer, Kisi, okay? Alexander, history is a complex science that includes many subjects from archaeology to philosophy. This allows people to know how humanity has developed from the past until now. Alexander, that is a beautiful background information. So 2 thumbs up, Alexander. Wonderful. Okay, really nicely done. All right. Okay, students, here is mine. Learning about the past involves gaining knowledge of societies, conflicts, and inventions. Colon, I'm using it here. Why am I using this colon here? Shaping the world around us. Why am I using the colon in this one here, students, especially members that were in the yesterday and the day before in the class? Since school time is limited, it is important to evaluate the utility of learning this subject. Sheng Hung, very good. Yes, emphasis. That's exactly it. That's why I'm using that colon. Very nice. Okay, so now all I need to do is grab my thesis statement, stick it at the end of this introduction, and I should have a Band 9 level introduction. Okay, so here we go. Let's just put that thesis into brackets for future reference. And now I have my full introductory paragraph. The study of history is a significant part of traditional school subjects. Learning about the past involves gaining knowledge of societies, conflicts, and inventions. shaping the world around us. Since school time is limited, it is important to evaluate the utility of learning this subject. Although certain individuals may feel that the study of history is useless, as it is often skewed and readily available online. I'm going to take out that online part for parallel grammar, readily available. I propose that this information is fundamental for students to acquire in order to learn about past mistakes and establish future goals. And again, a little bit more parallel grammar here. Past mistakes, learn about past mistakes, and establishing goals. Parallel grammar, learn about past mistakes, learn about establishing goals. Okay, that's my parallel grammar, so that's the correction. Members, I am thrilled to see how you are evolving in your English, in your written communication, in your vocabulary. So I'm very, very proud of you. I wanted to emphasize that before I wrap this class up. Tomorrow, we will finish this essay with body paragraph 1 and 2. And the conclusion as well. We will focus on including those punctuation marks that we learned in the last 2 classes, okay? Coming up in 30 minutes, of course, we will have listening section 3 and 4 continuing from yesterday's classes. It has been my pleasure to teach everyone. Again, members, there are new membership levels. Remember that. So if you want access to our premium IELTS package, and there's even a premium plus package where you can book some speaking practice interviews with me, as well as get task 1, task 2 edits. Check out those higher end packages in your membership on our channel. And for everybody who's watching, you can also join our websites. Click on the red button at gieltshelp.com or at aehelp.com. Click on that red button there. Students in Saudi Arabia, you can actually register for your IELTS exams through us now. So that is possible. All right. That's it for now. And I will see everyone hopefully in 30 minutes for some more listening practice and strategy. You're very welcome. Firdavs, Roshni, have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.